This is Bon. Oh, wait, why do I always say that? Stupid introductions. I am at Pawnee Park West again. It's 8:40 a.m. and this time I'm going to fish for a little while during the morning, during the sunrise. It's been about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe before the sun even rose, so it's really not sunrise technically, but it's close enough. It's gonna be a little bit more leisurely fishing. I'm gonna try to set up one, two rods in there, just kind of one floating, one off the bottom. Ah, while I'm setting up two other rods with 8 pound tests, just to get ready for some fishing for either sauger and or walleye. Walleye and sauger, they're pretty much the same. And the reason why I like doing this is just to see what's out there, how get to know a body of water, even though this body of water is very small, and as you can definitely see, it's very easy to catch fish here because it's such a small body of water. So now when I'm actually looking at fishing, the sun is opposite, so it's shining on me right now from the direction I'm looking at. And look at these trees. Hey Ben. Yep, trees are good. They offer shade and sometimes food of stuff that falls during the wind, and so it's usually a good spot to fish it. So that's what I like to fish. The only problem with it is you really have to watch yourself from getting tangled. Um, One of the things I like to do is to fish on the other side of the bank and kind of go over towards the trees. Otherwise, go into a little area right here. There's a little dip, and it's a nice spot to just kind of lay down in and just cast over to where the shade is. So that's what I'm going to do. So close to the car. It's not even funny. All right. Yeah, maybe you will be luck, although I try not to rely on luck in as far as anything. Oh, except for maybe getting my phone stable. All right. I am gonna need. I'll just use that. All right. So I'm just gonna get set up over here, and might be here for an hour. Even if I don't catch anything, that's fine. Just kind of see what's going on, especially in the morning. Some fish like feeding in the morning, some fish like feeding at night. And the temperature wasn't too hot, so they're probably still pretty active. Let's see. There's two rods that I need to definitely change the line on. This one might be one of them. Oh wait, this is the one with the bad. Yep, that one I can't do. So I guess I'll be fishing with one line, changing out two, and see how that goes. Actually, this one might be good. Yeah, this one is. I don't believe in luck, but this is my bad luck reel. I just have bad luck with it. I can't explain it. You know, I don't believe in luck except for bad luck. So this has something already on. It looks, oh, okay, there's a little bit of fringe. Alright, so I am gonna definitely redo my bad luck rod. And I know one of these should be good. Okay, this one is good. Oh, this one's also a bad one, I think. I mean, I knew I was gonna be get charged up a little bit. Just enjoy the nature of being out. I need a new hook. Oh, there's a fish already jumping out of the water. Did you guys see that? Here, I may not need to go next to the... It's right there. Came out of the water. One thing I might want to try is using a bobber. A float, I mean, not a bobber. Oh, you're up early. There, Ben. What's funny is, as someone who does computer stuff, you're usually up late at night, which I am. And if you're a fisherman, you're usually up early. So I'm a little bit of both. You'll see me stay up late doing stuff, and you also see me wake up early, mostly to wake up and fish, hopefully. Okay, this line I'm gonna change second. There's really not much I need to change on this rod. I mean, you see, you can't really see it, but there's some sag. That means weakness on the line. So it's more like a 3-pound test right now. I've got a treble hook. I'm gonna exchange it out and put in a single hook. Let's see. I don't need a big worm. I don't want to cut it up though. What to do? What should I use? I'll use a bobber. A float, sorry. Just use the same bobber. I don't need to cast it out far. Oh, I know. I'm going to use a power egg. I got power eggs. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a float off a power egg. And see how that goes. Yep, they're definitely jumping off the top. Alright. For a power egg, I'm going to use a size. What is that? Size. Okay, a little bit of a curve, and you got a single snell. So it's a little bit of a mix. It's hard to get the water in. Now let's see. How do I want to do this? Okay, instead of the bullet weight, I'm going to take that part off. It's good because I need a new leader anyway. Here we go. I'm gonna take the leader off. This line away. Give me a second. Well, noticing the fish jumping out of the water is a great sign that they are active this morning. And let's see if they're active for fish eggs. Eggs for breakfast. I know a lot of normal, regular watchers, except for early morning Ben, aren't awake. Let's see. That way. I usually put water in here just to have some weight. But we don't really need it because, and let's get rid of some of the frayed line here. This is such a small pond, and the fish are just jumping right out of the water pretty close to the bank. They're looking at the shoreline for food, top of the water. So that's why we're gonna go ahead and use a float, a bobber. I keep saying float. I don't mean to. As you can see, there's a lot of clouds. Well, if you can't see, there's a lot of clouds. The sun is just peeking out a little bit over the clouds. It's good for the fish because they like to look up, especially the trout. Maybe some of the sunfish, they do look up as well when they're feeding. So the types of fish that I typically like to eat, look up. The fish that I typically don't eat, like largemouth, smallmouth bass, they like to look down. And I'm not going to really use that much of a leader. I'm not even going to use the bobber stopper. Okay, it's a short leader here. I mean, this is like 1.5 feet. Once I tie it up, it'll be closer to 1.25 feet. So peaceful in the morning. I'm one of those that use my teeth when I tie a line. It's probably a bad habit. But I've just grown accustomed to it, and I just like tying it faster and a certain type of knot. Even though you should learn a variety of knots to tie. This one hasn't failed me for a long time, so I keep using it. Maybe tomorrow I'll go ahead and fish for walleye if my setup's all set up for Friday fishing. All right, so I got my bobber. It's not weighted down with water. I don't need to cast it very far. Number size 6 hook. I'm putting a large brown egg, salmon egg. I'm gonna, well, I was gonna use yellow, but orange fell, so I'm gonna use the orange. These don't really float, so they'll sink a little bit, which is good. And I don't know if they like sand or not. Ah! I'll wipe away some of the sand. It's not scented, it's all visual presentation with these. Okay. In, out. Just enough. You can see the hook. And I don't need to here. Alright. There's definitely trout looking around. Side. All right, I'm going to be redoing this one. If you see, hopefully I'm not in the way. You'll see them jumping out of the water. Pretty good there. And this is the one that I was gonna change. To 8-pound test for walleye fishing, and I aim to fish for walleye tomorrow. So I'll get that ready. Fishing with the second rod right now. I'm going to focus on changing this out. See if that single egg is going to do anything. Probably not. Oops, there you go. If I put a worm on there, they would definitely go ahead and go for it. But I just want to use artificial. I'm not really intent on catching to eat. Maybe for lunch. Who knows? Trout for lunch. Sounds pretty good. Or trout scramble with eggs. Oh, I got a hit. Small young one. It's a little small. Sorry, bud. Alright, can I get it out without killing you? Sorry, bud. Let's see if I can get that out. Oh, it's bleeding. Alright, I'm gonna take it out of its misery. Oh. I guess you are my lunch. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Oh, that worked out a little bit too easy. I wasn't even expecting to catch any with that. So we do know that bobber float. Go rinse it off, and it fell. I had to go fishing for the fish. Well, that was quite easy. I didn't really want to take that one. I waited too long to set the hook, so I was working on my other gear. Kind of don't want that a lot of times. Okay, I'll leave it like that for a bit. Well, that was a small one, making for a small lunch. Maybe I'll do another one. Hopefully I can let it go again. But if it's a small one like that one, it's a shame. I don't really like eating the smaller ones. There's not much meat to them. They haven't lived that long. Kind of eating what they want in a place like this. Alright, a little closer to there. 25 minutes. It's not bad. Alright, so we know the orange worked. Let's try yellow. Although with the cloudy, yeah, yellow is actually not bad. Ah, there it goes. Keep dropping it in the sand. One thing that pisses me off are all the litter. Cigarette butts, trash, fishing, even some alcohol bottles, whiskey bottles, vodka empty bottles. It seems like it doesn't matter where you are at. There's some jerks out there that don't care about the environment, especially if they're here to fish. It doesn't make no sense. You may have got another bite already. Like I said, it's a small pond. Someone tied their line or got snagged. So that's a great thing about using a bobber, a float, sorry, or a Carolina rig. You can do other stuff while you're technically fishing. I call it lazy fishing. That's what I do a lot. Because I do a lot more prep work and getting the next bait or rod ready. Ooh, look at that. One jumped out of the water. So, I mean, I like using lures. I like using jig heads and things like that. They're fun to use. Take some technique. Although, if you guys know me by now, I'm more about strategy and tactics than I am about technique. Technique is what catches fish, I guess. It's like the offensive weapon of catching fish. Strategy and tactics is what enables you to catch the fish, locate the fish, get the fish tempted to bite on the lure or whatever bait that you're using. Live bait does all that work for you. So that's what I like. That's why a lot of people use live bait. You can't mimic the real thing, just use the real thing. So in trout, it's kind of wanted. There's two great weapons, although some people say it's a hassle. For example, they like stuff floating off the bottom, so you need bait that rises, and that's trouble for some, but that's also a good weapon to use for fishing because it gives you another option to present your bait rather than having it just sink to the bottom where it could be hidden by sand, snagged by rocks, hidden by weeds, reeds, whatever. Great thing about bait that sinks is you can use a bobber and it has the same effect. And you can use a bobber stopper to stop at a certain depth. cast over a little bit that way. We're seeing typically in the middle here. Investigating the middle of the pond. I'm not even gonna use this thing. You'll see this thing start to pull. Alright. I'm gonna use 8-pound test. This is gonna be my walleye and sauger reel. For real. 8-pound test. I've never used 8-pound test. Used 4-pound, 6-pound. I started with 6-pound, went down to 4. Used 10 and 15 for flounder. And I also used 30 and 40-pound test for bigger fish. I've used the 15 and 20, I think, for scup, and I've used the 30 and 40-pound test for striped bass. 8 and 12, I've never really, actually 8 I've never used. 12, 10. I think I've only done one. 10 and 12, just a flounder. I really don't, and plus when you're catching small fish like this, you really don't want to use that big of line. They're not really, you won't get much of a fight. So even if you catch a small fish with a 4-pound test, it feels like you caught a big one. Gives us some play. You don't have to just reel it in all the time. So walleye fishing will be pretty fun. And there's a size limit. Like, you can't catch the big walleye, take home to eat. You gotta release. So when I catch one, I have to make sure that I don't get it in the gut or in the belly. That way, if it's not the right size to eat, if it's not the right size regulation-wise, I let it go. I like this reel. It's a Penn Battle 2 2000, and that's some smooth reeling action. Oh, come on. How did this happen? Here we go. Nothing like being able to fish 5 minutes from the house. I mean, it's close to the road. I don't like. You hear all the traffic. It's good to collect your thoughts in the morning. Figure out what my plan is for the day. I think I want to get the living room cleaned up, and the vents and the ventilation and stuff like that. I think I want to focus on that during the day. Tomorrow, maybe focus on the kitchen sink. If I could find the water filters, I can install that. I also need to remove right over there, behind the trees, like I said. They're jumping out of the water. You gotta listen to your gut sometimes. Alright, I'm gonna recast that one. I'm done with this. 8-pound test. Now, a great difference between fishing here and fishing in Walden Pond in Boston, in Walden, in Massachusetts, is that I don't have to cast far. So I don't really have to have that much line on my reels. So using a heavier pound test, I can always use a 6-pound or a 4-pound leader. That makes it more transparent, so it's farther for fish to see. And another important quality was the water quality. Another factor, I mean. For example, the water quality at Walden Pond is so clear that if you used 8-pound mono or fluoro or whatever, they might actually be able to see it. But here the water is kind of murky and dirty. They're not going to see it. So that's something to consider. I can use this. Once I find my GoPro, I'll be using that for recording and just kind of edit the videos here. That I have. Oh no. How does this happen? It's becoming unspooled. There's a lot of twist on the line, I think that's why. Nothing ever goes smoothly here for me. Always something. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Why is it doing this to me? Alright, rather than deal with all that, I'm just gonna thread the line over. Use that as leader. You're probably wondering why I'm spending so much prep time on this and I'm not even going to use this. Well, that way when I actually go fishing for my next one, I don't have as much prep time. when I'm ready to fish for walleye, all I do is put on my bait, my hook that I want to use, my setup, and I'm ready to go. I got options. I got 4-pound test, I got 8-pound test. Heck, I might even try some 12-pound test. Six is usually a good even one. I mean, you can catch some big fish with 6-pound, catch some light fish. I really prefer 6-pound test. So I think I might do is have one with 8-pound test, have one with 6, and keep the other 2 at 4. Maybe have 2 with 6 and 1 with 4. Prefer catching these lighter trout and stuff with 4-pound test. Although I might just use my Tenkara rod for here and not have to worry about all that stuff. So Tenkara rod or probably not a fly rod. It's too much stuff to get tangled in. I don't want to really get in the water either. So I hope I can find my Tenkara rod. That will be awesome. Okay. This rod is I need a hair tie for this. I know. Rubber band breaks, retie it. Maybe it's time to throw this rubber band away. Yep. Rubber band's done for. Alright, 8-pound test is ready. The other one with the broken rod, I think I'll replace that, reuse the reel. And set that up at home. Yeah, that's the one with the broken one. So I'll set that one up at home. Oh, you guys missed it. Picked my bait. And I wasn't paying attention, so I couldn't set the hook. Ooh, there you are, jumping out of the water. All right. Orange worked really well. I'm going to stick with orange. Orange Glad. Again, using a number 6 hook. Snelled. Not snelled. It's curved and it's got one single barb. Set it through. Expose the hook. Murky-ish kind of water, not very clear, will do wonders. Float bobber. see how the lure works today. One thing I hate about using lures against small fish is you snag that lure, you lose that lure. That lure costs what, $1, $2, maybe even $3. It sucks. But a great thing about oh, looks like I got one again. Yeah, I got one again. Never mind. One thing about lazy fishing is if you don't pay attention, they'll steal your bait. Hey Bob, if I get in, why would I be taking Vicodin? Whoa! Alright. And here we go. Oh. Keep a closer eye on it. Oh my goodness. Why would you be doing that? That's a little silly. Oh my goodness. Don't know. That should be good. I may not even be using live bait today again. I don't feel like I need to, because I already tried it before and I know that I don't need it. At least not here. But live bait is great to have, just in case nothing else is working. And you really want to catch some fish. Sometimes I just start off with it. Most of the time, actually. Part of it is, you know, even if I don't catch anything, at least I fed the fish for the next time so they grow a bit. Alright, let's see. Let's see how this does. They don't seem to be liking this one. Oh, and I am wrong. Fish on. Oh, it got away. I'd say it was about a 12-inch rainbow. At least we know that this one works. And my retrieve, slow retrieve, constant jigging. So it looks like a fly-ish, kind of like trying to get out of the water. A lot of visibility, actually. Just probably a foot or two underneath the surface of the water. So they can see. Good. I didn't set the hook well enough, obviously. Or I should have let the fish actually take off with it. All that tension in the rod, I was able to shake it off. I'm a rookie. Experienced rookie. Or should I say amateur? Alright. Should be good. There we go, fish on. Another trout. Oh. Look. Got it here. I don't know how many Probably about 15 more minutes. I'm actually going to sink it a little bit lower. See how that goes. Turtle. Decent sized turtle. Like a 10-inch turtle. fun watching a trout jump out of the water. I'm gonna take this one for my lunch today. Sorry, buddy. Your lunch. That is good. Oh, this one attacked it. I didn't get it in the lip anyway. Alright, all artificial bait today. Second trout. Really wasn't that active as far as wanting to catch my limit. Maybe I might catch one more just to freeze for later. See it in case my daughter wants to fish again. Battery's running low, it's getting a little bit past my fishing time. trout are, I think I might go over there and try a crappie. See if I can catch one. During the day, should be better. Alright, I'm gonna move over. Just gonna use one rod. My battery's running low, so I'm gonna stop the video. Thank you for watching. And I'm gonna fish on for a little bit more.